What's up? What's up? Welcome to another episode of Big Classic Talk with my man Rashad Scott.
In front of the camera this time.
And me, Fred Biggie Smalls. Peace out. Shout out to my other co-host, Walter Sellers. He's busy as hell with that new gym he just opened. So he's not joining us today, but he will be back next week. What is going on, sir?
Just life, man. It's not much anything.
Really?
Aside from the goddamn cardio you got me on.
Well, yeah, that was I'm doing the cardio right along with you. We are currently, 9 weeks out? 9 weeks, 3 days out from the Masters Olympia. And prep is going great. Coming down pretty well. Losing fat, gaining some muscle at the same time. At least it feels that way. And I'm hyped, man. I'm hyped.
As you should be. Remember I sent you that video from March 2020?
Yeah, before the Arnold
Australia, I think.
Was canceled, right?
Yeah.
It was canceled due to COVID and everything else.
I think you were like 9 days out or something.
Yeah, I was pretty, I looked pretty sharp there, but I was, I think I was a little smaller there, right? Don't you think?
Yeah, much smaller. But yeah, 'cause that was your first show post-surgery too.
Yeah, I'm excited for, I think I'll be back to, my perfect contest weight, 228, 233, somewhere in that range. And whenever I was in those 5 pounds, competing consistently, I was always in the top 5 of the open shows. So it's when I drop below it or when I'm higher than that I either look too flat or I don't look full enough, or I definitely looked a little bit too watery. So
where did you place when you were? I think you said you were walking around at 280 or something. I know it was like off season, but
yeah, I hit 280 twice. I actually only hit 280 once, and that was when I was trying to do the USA in 2010, and that prep was hell because I sent my pictures to George, and the first thing he says is, "Once again, you've gotten too fat." So, I was trying to push the envelope. I just wanted to see what it was like to weigh 300 pounds, and I actually hit 290. But at 5'7", 290, I could barely move, man. I was a mess, and but I wanted to feel that one time.
Yeah.
So I was just eating everything I could eat, and training really hard, training more like a powerlifter at the time. More rest between sets, not expending as much energy throughout the day. And I think definitely felt very unhealthy. But when I came down, it was so hard to come down that by the time my skin got really thin and everything, and I came all the way down to 226. So it shows you that it wasn't worth gaining all that weight, because the year before I did the Nationals in 2009 and I was like 220 or something like that. Mm-hmm. So going all the way up to 280 was pointless.
Yeah.
I think you reach a point where your body becomes like almost like catabolic on purpose, because it knows you're way too heavy.
Yeah.
It knows it's now your body's gonna do what it can to keep you as safe as possible, right? So self-preservation, and you add a bunch of muscle tissue on a bunch of fat, and the next thing you know, you can't breathe.
Yeah, going up steps.
Yeah, because being 280 pounds more body fat than muscle is actually easier on your heart than being 280 pounds almost all muscle, right? Because your heart's got to work so hard to supply all that muscle with blood flow and everything else, so, and oxygen and everything else. So it's definitely one of those things where being big is awesome. Be careful what you ask for.
Yeah.
So
you said, no matter how you cut it, 300 pounds is 300 pounds.
Yeah, definitely. But this prep, man, is really cool. It's been a lot of. In the beginning, it was hard, heavy, not heavy, but a lot of cardio right out of the gate. Then it dropped down for a few weeks. A lot of low carb days right out of the gate. And then now we've hit a point where I got all my abs, I got all the lines. It's just we got a little lower back fat we're still carrying. Glutes obviously still got to get in there, but you can see lines everywhere. So now we're like ahead of the game. So it's not a matter of rushing to get in shape. So at this point, now I'm getting more days where I'm actually getting a considerable amount of food.
Yeah.
300 plus grams of carbs in a day, and feeling, really good when I train. So I'm training with more intensity, and because my endurance is great from the cardio, man, my training has been really good. Like the recovery between sets. I mean, doing sets of squats with like 24 reps, and actually being able to do appreciable weight and not be dead for the rest of the workout. So I'm doing that, and then I'm jumping over to leg pressing with 15, 20 reps and not dying because I'm not out of breath. Dying from the legs being pushing to failure, but not dying cardiovascularly. Right. So every set is quality. Every set's quality.
That's dope. I mean, again, you get that people don't understand how like your endurance from cardio crosses over, like you said, in between sets.
Yeah. And
in regards to like, I'm a powerlifter. I don't need to. No, you do. Like we was talking to Tom the other day, well, like a couple weeks ago now, where he started doing cardio in regards to speeding up his warm-ups and getting in between and getting warmed up faster. So like he said, he was at his meet. People asked like, how you warming up so fast? He was like, because I ain't just sitting around in between.
Right. Yeah. And I think the misconception is that, like doing cardio is going to automatically, like if I do 10 minutes of cardio, it's going to burn up all my muscle, and that's not true. I think it comes back to is your nutrition supporting the activity? Like if the nutrition's not supporting the activity, yes, you're going to lose muscle. But if I'm a power lifter and I do no cardio, then when I do a heavy, when I do my heavy PR on the platform of squats, it takes me a true 5 minutes to recover from that. Versus if I'm doing some cardio and my heart's used to beating fast, my recovery is going to be better. Blood flow is going to be better. I think the muscles contract better. So nutrient uptake is better. All of that stuff. So I think people misconstrue how beneficial cardiovascular exercise is. Like I didn't do any cardio pretty much for 18 months. But I was outside consistently playing with my kids. Right? So it wasn't traditional cardio, but I was outside consistently playing with my kids. But even with that, I can feel a big difference right now doing it all the time. Huge difference. Never mind this, it also improves your stroke game, right? Like, I mean, when your girlfriend will appreciate you doing cardio consistently. So big fellas out there with all the muscle, or if you're carrying an appreciable amount of fat, do some cardio. Your girlfriend will appreciate it.
No lies there. Not even a little bit.
I'm walking across the gym and this guy says to me, he's like, God, aches and pains, everything. I just need to go on gear. And super out of shape looking. I mean, he's strong. His 1 rep max is strong. But, I remember Charles Garhagen, what's his name? The Polish strongman, Mario Puchanowski. And some of the other, I forget the 242-pound lifter that was late 90s, Kirk Kalowski. These guys were in shape, man. They were, Kirk Kalowski squatted 1,000 pounds with abs, Now his midsection was huge from his transverse and his core being so strong, but it was abs.
Yeah.
So to tell me that you have to be out of shape to be a powerlifter is bullshit.
No. What's his name? Not Thor. What's the other guy?
Not Brian Shaw.
I don't think so. One of them, I can't remember, but I just saw a TikTok recently, and it was just this like guy being doing a kind of a funny interview or not.
Eddie Hall, that's
who it was. Yeah. And he was saying, he said, how long do you think it would take you to get abs? Blah blah blah. He's like, with all the weight that I've been moving for the last X amount of years, my core is the strongest than anybody in the world. Yeah. He's like, I'm like underweight right now, and you can see my abs poking out. And he lifted his shirt up and everything, and people don't understand how abs is all, and just like in regards to that, it's just like abs is all how you see it. If you're doing it for aesthetics, you can still have a weak core and have abs poking out. But then, like we talk about in regards to performance versus aesthetics or bodybuilding, their core is not going to help somebody in bodybuilding, but
Right,
somebody
not to your detriment.
exactly, but somebody who's squatting 1,000 pounds needs that thick
They
core.
better have it, yeah.
Exactly. So it's just crazy how people just get that mixed up. Like a perfect example, I had a client talk to me Monday, just signed back up. Training with him for about 3 years, 4 years on and off. And he was like, oh man, because he got hurt at work and whatnot. His waistline was coming back. And he was like, man, I hate this. I hate this. He had abs too, older gentleman. And he's like, I try to get it back. Do I got to do more cardio? Do I just got to train with you? Like, what do I do? I've been following a diet 100%. I had explained to him, you lost a lot of weight for me to get down to a certain amount of weight. And now we're trying to put on muscle. Then you got hurt at work, still following that surplus of calories. So now you're holding more weight because you're not using it. You were bedridden for 6 weeks, but still eating the same thing. So even though you're eating a surplus of protein and carbs and a little bit of fat more than normal, you're just sitting there. It's not doing anything.
Yeah.
So I had to explain to him, look, if you could only afford one, do diet with me, because you only put on like 7-10 pounds of body fat, went straight to your stomach.
Right.
But you get that off in less than a certain amount of time, you'll be perfectly fine. But doing additional cardio ain't gonna change anything in regards to.
Well, you can't out eat, right? You can't
Exactly.
eat the calorie surplus, right? I mean, you can't out cardio or out exercise the calorie surplus, right? So, yeah, your calories have to be in balance, and that's another people don't realize. It doesn't matter what you're eating if the calories are still over the top, right? Like, if you sit there and eat chicken and sweet potatoes all day, but you're eating 16 ounces of sweet potato every meal, you're still going to gain some fat, right? Because it's a surplus of energy going into your body. And that's what people typically, the misconcept is, I'm eating healthy. That's good. Avocado is healthy, right? A salad with oil and vinegar dressing is typically healthy. However, combined with too much rice, too much ground turkey, all those things sound like, how can I get fat off of that? Because if it's too many calories based on what you're expending, your body's going to store it as fat. Yeah, so, it doesn't really matter. Now, I will say this. It's hard to get fat eating too much protein because no one overindulges on protein, right? But if you did, there's a thermic, what's the word I'm looking for?
Thermogenic.
There's a thermogenic quality to protein in that you're burning an extra 25% calories through digestion and any other nutrient, right? So by eating more protein, you're creating more thermogenesis in your body, right? Just through the digestion process. So if you were gonna, burn 100 calories through eating carbs, through digesting carbs, just by eating protein, you're going to burn an extra 125 calories. So I think that is something to keep in mind. So if you are going to overindulge in anything, it's not enjoyable, but you can overindulge on protein and you have a better chance of not putting on extra fat.
Yeah, very true, very true.
So, but what's up, man? Like, anything fun going on? What's up?
Nah, just like went to that show last weekend. A lot of people look good.
Yeah, shout out to our boy Chris Pfeiffer. He won everything. Shout out to Shell Primers. She won
everything.
And then my client Nick Rapici, he won all his classes for men's physique, all three. And Casey ended up winning novice and and masters, right?
Was it? She's masters?
I don't know. I mean, you said she missed open, right?
She missed open. She must have, because I don't know if she got back on stage.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if they judged her for open, but I know she had 2 trophies, so it had to be for something.
Right. So she won 2 of her classes, right?
She won 1, I think. I don't know. I know she at least won 1, but she placed in another one for sure.
Okay. Well, kudos to her. She's doing it. Single mom, 2 boys. And, so congratulations to her. And then we have Mary.
Mary placed,
also at the training center.
She actually, I think, won masters over 40.
Okay.
How did Nick do?
My client?
Yeah.
He won all 3 of his classes.
And Nick,
I just said that.
You did?
I did.
Oh, damn.
Pay attention.
I'm trying. You did say Nick. And who else was there? I don't think anybody else was.
No, it was good. It was good. I mean, it was a smaller show,
Yeah.
but always good to see people working towards something and achieving it. And they were both, I know Shell, Chris, Mary are going on to do Team Universe.
Yes.
Nick is actually going to go on and do Masters, the Masters Nationals.
Okay.
In a few weeks, and then and we have 2 clients coming up here in a couple weeks, along with Chris and Shell, all going to Team Universe, and they're going to all shoot for their pro cards up there. So it's a busy couple of months coming up here.
You know how many competitors are going to be at the Team View?
Usually there's upwards of 500 competitors at those shows.
Because I remember Chris was telling me when he did Miami, this was years ago. It's like over like 1,000 something competitors.
Yeah, I mean that's I think the North Americans that's typically held in September rivals it, but I think one of the hardest pro qualifiers there is the Nationals and. Typically held in December.
Because that's pretty much the end for everybody.
It's the end, and when I was coming up, it was always in October, November, before Thanksgiving. Now they've put it after Thanksgiving, so it's like the last pro qualifier of the year.
I think COVID messed that up too.
I want to say they put it now because when Chris did the Nationals the first time,
It was in November.
before COVID, right? Was it in November?
Yeah, it was November 2019.
Really? Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, he did that show and he looked crazy condition. We just didn't have enough size.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That was his first qualifying.
That was his first national show.
Yeah,
we had
national
done the Big Cat, I think, and we had done the Lehigh.
Yes.
And won his class there, and then we went over 6 months later and did the nationals or whatever. And that was his first, pretty much his second year competing.
Yeah, because
Yeah. So the first year, we kind of took it serious, but the second year, man, he was on it. He was on it. So
yeah, come a long way.
he has, and the thing is, he's got a genetic structure that's superior to most. So if you don't know, we're talking about Fight for Fit on Instagram. I think his handle, right?
Yeah, Fight for Fit with 2 T's.
With 2 T's, right? Yeah.
I'll put it up there. So.
He's got genetic structure that's pretty good now. My only concern is his size, but for men's physique, he should be fine. He should be fine if that's what they're doing. I don't know what their game plan is, but that's what they're doing. So definitely wishing him all the best. So I had somebody ask me something today, and it's kind of funny because there's no real answer to this question, but this is how people think, and so I want to get your clarification on it because you deal with general population a lot. What is the ideal amount of meals you should eat a day?
That's very subjective, depending on who you ask. But in my opinion, I say 5 to 6. Now, why I say 5 to 6 is because typically most people are up for longer than 8 hours.
Right.
So spacing that out throughout your day, depending on how your day is, that makes the most sense.
Right.
Because if you do breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you have long spans in the body in between for it to be like, hey, look, I'm just gonna hold on to stuff. I ain't got enough time. Because generally people, if they're working for 8 hours, they're doing travel for at least an hour, whether it be 30, whatever the case may be, depending on home watching something or with the kids or something. So you give yourself enough time to keep your body metabolizing throughout the day. Now, obviously, it depends on what you're eating, because typically people are already doing that anyway before they meet us and snacking throughout the day and whatnot, snacking up to 5 to 6 times already.
You think people are eating 5 or 6 meals before they see us?
No, I think they're snacking 5 to 6 times. Like, think about it. Most people don't eat breakfast.
Right.
And at best, they get a coffee.
Donut.
Whatever's in the, like they go to the office setting, whatever's there to grab.
Don't forget Buc-ee's. You're going to Starbucks.
Yeah, definitely. And that's a meal in itself. With all the carbs and shit in it.
600-700 calories in a drink.
So all right, let's go. Yes, who's that? Getting a Starbucks coffee. You're already starting your day off with 600 calories, probably 3 or 4 hours after you wake up, right? Then you got some pretzels at your desk or something. I used to work at DuPont where I walk through, people got snacks and they thought, this is funny, is I used to work at DuPont security. I rather see all snacks, just grab them and keep going. This different me back in the day. But, so you're snacking at your desk. Then you get up and go to lunch, wherever it be, a group thing or whatever. You go and get some pizza, some whatever, hot dog, and then you don't eat for the rest of the day, and you start crashing, and then now you grab something from Wawa on the way home, just a little snack, and then you get a late night meal. If you're one of the families that cook dinner or whatever, or you just order something off the line, because roommates that I had, every night I see a Papa John's box in my house, every night. And I'm like, I ain't never seen. I didn't even know Papa John's was near me.
Right.
But so you break that down. Coffee, you might as well count that as a meal because of the calories. The pretzels at your desk, the lunch that you eat at work already, the snack that you picked up from Wawa, and the dinner that you're eating, whether it's ordered out or made at home. So that's 5 right there already. People are already doing it.
That's a good point.
So just do it better and add an additional meal in there depending on your day.
Right. What I find is that I'll get people to start with me and say they want to do 4 meals a day, or they want to do 3 meals a day, or they want to do like a window of time because they've heard of intermittent fasting. And what I find is that when people get in better shape and they start consistently working out and consistently eating, that they're hungrier more often.
Very much.
So then the 6 meals aren't quite as difficult to get in, right? But I feel like, a 5 meal plan for the general population, you can't go wrong with.
Nope.
And if you're spacing it out every 2.5 to 3 hours a day, 3 hours throughout the day, then you're, for instance, you're getting up, you get work by 7:30, 8 o'clock, so you eat your first meal at 7. Typically most people get a mid-morning break, so you're eating your next meal at 9:30, 10. Most people have a lunch break, so you're eating your next meal at 12:30 or 1. And then you figure afternoon, starting to wind down, blood sugar starting to drop, you eat again at 3. Typically off by 5, you're eating again at 6 or 7. Maybe if your kids have activities, you stretch it out till 8. And I think that works for most people's schedules. I feel like the downfall comes when you start doing things like this, where you go, okay, I'm gonna eat 4 meals a day, I'm not gonna eat my first meal till 12. Now what happens on the holidays? You have to break that, right? What happens on the weekend? Sometimes you break it, right? Either because if you're young, you might wake up later than 12.
Yeah.
If you're older with responsibilities, kids and all that stuff, you don't have work to occupy your mind. So now it's the weekend, you're chilling with your family. Kids are like, they ain't waiting until 12, 1 o'clock to eat, right? So you're fixing them something to eat. And it's like, I think that's where you can kind of get messed up. So I always try and tell people, there's no ideal meal count, because you can lose weight eating 2 meals a day, 1 meal a day. It's been proven you can do it. It's whatever you can adhere to. But what's realistic in your schedule? And I feel like 4 meals a day is always realistic. But I think 5, once you get into a system of eating consistently, training consistently, and just living a healthier lifestyle, I think 5 is always very easy to attain. And it gives you some flexibility in that you're not hungry for too long. Your blood sugar levels don't drop, so you're not discombobulated or feeling irritable or moody. And if you're training, and if you're training hard, then it gives you an opportunity to have a meal right after and a meal before. Right? So that's my take on it. I think, there's a million different diet fads out there. But what do you do when the fad's over, once you've hit the weight?
Exactly. You go right back to the same stuff you've been doing and go in a sick loop of lose weight, gain weight, lose weight, gain weight.
Which is what most people do, right?
All the time.
Because if I'm doing a point system, am I learning how to eat?
No.
If I'm doing something out of a box, am I learning how to eat?
Nope.
If I'm doing something that says, okay, you're going to eat 3 meals a day, you got to have 6 ounces of this, 6 ounces of this, 6 ounces of that, am I always going to want to be measuring by scale?
Exactly.
Right. So typically, if I can get myself to understand, I'm going to do 3 meals, 3 to 5. I'm going to do 5 meals, and I'm going to do my first 3 with some carbohydrates, my last 2 without carbohydrates. That's a really easy plan to follow. Very easy plan to follow. It's if I'm doing a few eggs and and oatmeal or whatever, like it's really quite easy to maintain a body weight if you've learned how to eat in the process. It's very hard to maintain body weight if you've starved yourself, if you've undereaten, if you've used a drug, if you follow something that's not realistic to live by on a daily basis. And if it's not something that's completely crashed your metabolism in the process. So, though it may look more attractive to do something that says losing 30 pounds in 30 days and all that stuff, you have to think to yourself, can I maintain it?
It's not possible.
Right, easy come, easy go, right?
Especially for the general population. Like we can say that the extremes of bodybuilders and so on can do it because that's a different type of person. Like we've talked about it multiple times on this podcast. I gained 15 pounds after my show. You gained 70, but then managed to bring it right back down when need be for either shoot or something like that or whatever it can be. My cosplay that I was getting ready for that year brought it back down, but it's just like, that's like, cause somebody's gonna bring an argument. Well, I saw Ronnie Coleman do it. Or I saw whoever. Just like those people you're not that person. That's why I hate when people try to say, well, I seen this on TikTok. I seen this. I seen that. And I was like, first of all, half the people you see on there ain't you.
Right.
And the other half are genetic freaks because it's a very small population of people doing stuff. And we're just talking about diet, but it can bleed over into fitness. Like I saw some kid, what was he doing? He was doing pull-ups while he had a stationary bike attached to him while he was riding a bike and doing pull-ups at the same time.
That's pretty infamous.
I was like, what? And again, it's just like, and especially our industry is, how do I top the next person? How do I top the next person? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right. Well, I think when I feel very confident when I tell people how to stay lean because, genetically, I was, my family history is to be overweight.
Same.
But in those 2 years where I wasn't competing and didn't think I was ever going to compete again, I got away from extremes and just kept everything pretty comfortable. I never lost my abs the entire time. Now, when I was bodybuilding, either had abs and looked really hard, or I was kind of fluffy, right, and didn't have any. But in that time frame, I don't think I went below 230 or above 240. I stayed within 5 to 10 pounds of 230 the entire 2 years. I didn't follow any diets. It was very simple. My breakfast was always consistently good, very clean. A few English muffins, 2 eggs, 8 egg whites, 10 egg whites sometimes, and a couple pieces of fruit. Like, I think almost anybody can get down with that consistently. Most people are still like, that's a lot of food. But for me, it really wasn't. And I always had 3 meals, 2 to 3 meals, 8 ounces of protein, 7 ounces of protein, and a cup of rice. Always had that. So there was a level of consistency. So once you establish that level of consistency, 90% of the time, you can dick around the other 10% of the time and you're not going to get fat. And then on the weekends, I would allow myself to eat out every day, but I would still and I probably only ate like 4 meals on the weekends, right? And then on Friday, I'd have probably 5 or 6 meals I was eating out and doing my clean meals. But then what I would do is whatever I have for dinner, I would have for dinner. And I stayed very lean the whole time. What I didn't do was not exercise. I always exercise. And I just lived a generally healthy lifestyle. No alcohol was involved. Alcohol a couple times a week and maybe one here and there, but definitely nothing with consistency. But the consistent approach of 4 good meals every day led my physique to say, okay, we're going to be at this level of leanness. And that's pretty much where I stayed for 2 years. And through holidays, through the summer, through this occasion, that occasion, it was very consistent. And because I wasn't looking at, and this is the mental piece of this, and this is where people get jammed up. All of a sudden they start following a diet, and it's like, oh my God, I can't eat all this stuff. And it's like, you wouldn't have eaten it anyway.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have eaten it anyway. So is your mindset right when you start a plan? Or is your mindset right when you just embark on this journey to be healthier? Because your mindset is not, God, I'm sacrificing all this stuff. And it's just like, if I really want it, I'll have it. Mm-hmm. That's a much different mindset, because in bodybuilding, everything's extreme.
Yep.
So you definitely can't apply that to the masses, because most people aren't good with extremes anyway. Mm-hmm. You know, someone changes your seat at your job and all of a sudden you're upset.
Yeah.
Like bodybuilders good bodybuilders don't respond like that, because we welcome change, right? That's what we're looking to do. We're trying to create change. Homeostasis is almost like comfortable positions actually scare us.
Yeah.
Because if we're comfortable, that means we're not changing, right? So when it comes to general population, you definitely don't want to follow what bodybuilders are doing to try and create that environment or that physique of a good, healthy position, right? Like I could say that better, but a good, healthy, low body fat, optimized physique is what you're looking to attain. And so I'm not saying to do what bodybuilders do. What I'm saying is find consistency in the approach and stick with it.
Yeah, because I mean, I'll use even better. It's like Kristen, she's down 40 pounds. And,
yeah, God bless her. That's awesome.
And we've been dicking around, like I told you before, but now I'm the one gaining weight. But for her, she's been staying around, like fluctuate 1 or 2 pounds. But because she's, like you said, following her meals throughout the day, like maybe like 90, 85% of the throughout the week. Mm-hmm. And only fluctuate up or down 1 or 2 pounds.
Right.
And she's only been doing it for less than a year.
Right.
So, and if people say, well, because I know somebody's probably say, well, you've been doing this for X amount of years, that's why your body retained. I was like, no, she's been doing this for less. General population, still doing great.
Right. Right. Yeah, I remember my coach one time said to me, I said, can I eat something for Thanksgiving? He goes, of course. It can't just be about a diet. Mm-hmm. Because that will never get you to be lean forever.
Never.
Right? So what does it take to be lean forever? You must increase your resting metabolism. We do that by training with weights. You must learn how to maintain consistent blood sugar levels. Your blood sugar is up, your pancreas releases more insulin, you can't burn body fat, right? Your blood sugar is too low, your body releases glucagon, it breaks down muscle tissue to increase or raise your blood sugar level. That's no good either. So you have to do those two components, and if you raise your resting metabolism and learn how to maintain consistent blood sugar level by eating balanced, nothing too crazy in either direction, then consistently, then you'll be lean forever.
Yep.
Very simple. So it's simple, yet it takes discipline to do, right? And but I promise y'all, if you consistently eat, a well-balanced approach, protein, carbs, fats, consistently, and don't overdo it on even when you eat your cheat shit, don't overdo it. If I want to have a piece of pizza, I have a couple slices of pizza. I don't eat the whole box.
Yeah.
Right? If I want to have a sub, I eat a half sub, and I don't eat the whole large. You know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of stuff you got to get in the habit of doing. If I want some ice cream, I eat a couple servings of ice cream, but I put it away. Like, the problem is people overindulge when something is good.
Mm-hmm. Definitely an American thing.
I don't know, man. I was in Okinawa and I was in somewhere in Asia. And I'm like, how are you guys fat over here? And then you go around the corner, you see KFC, you see McDonald's, you see Subway. You're like, damn, Americans done put our shit over here.
Damn.
Messing them up. Messing them up.
True, that's like I said, Texas, when I went down there, again, it's just, America is just big in general. But when I was in Texas, it was just, I was in the middle of nowhere, Texas, too. That was a part that blew my mind the worst. It's just waddling big. I'm just like, God damn. But I don't know. It's just crazy.
Well, I just think that the potato chip market is winning.
Always.
Doesn't matter how many health clubs we open. It doesn't matter. Because now, now the general culture is
body positivity.
Body positivity, right?
That shit's
so
crazy.
You're embracing people that are overweight, which I don't think, 10, 20 pounds overweight is a big deal, to be honest with you, right?
No.
Because, like, one, I'm overweight.
I'm overweight.
And I'm obese based on the charts. So we're not talking about that. But if you can't walk and you can't live a quality of life because you physically can't do things, then you're too damn big.
Yeah, I saw David Goggins on not Dave Chappelle, Joe Rogan's podcast, and he's like, "Look, I don't care if you fat. It's like just embrace that shit." He's like, "I embrace everything I am, but who's gonna want to embrace being fat? Like somebody call you fat, then you get offended." He's like, "No, embrace it. You want to be body positive and all that. Embrace being fat as fuck."
Right.
And again, he said nobody wants to do that. So there's no such thing as body positivity when it comes to I love my body. If you truly like who you are and don't want to change,
if someone calls you fat, you should be like, "Damn right,
goddamn right."
Fat is a motherfucker.
Yeah, now make me fat. It's like embrace it, and it's just like, but nobody wants to because nobody wants to be fat.
Right. So you got to ask yourself, am I fat because I don't want to do the work that it takes to lose the body fat? Are you fat because you don't want to be disciplined enough to eat the right foods? You think, oh my God, it's miserable to eat good foods, healthy foods? Or are you fat because you just truly enjoy being a bigger person?
Yeah.
Because if you're carrying too much fat and it's because you enjoy being a bigger person, then you should never get upset when someone calls you fat. You should say thank you. Appreciate the compliment, because when someone comes to me and says that is too much, and they do it, that's too much. Oh my God, why would you want to look like that? I'm like, man, you say the sweetest things.
I hate to say this, everybody that I know outside of the gym that's seen you or whatever say, "Oh, that's too much," and I was like, well, that's what he likes, so let it go.
Yeah, people say that about me.
Yes, I'm not. I give you a compliment. See, this is why I don't give you compliments.
They say it's too much.
Continue your statement.
Man, tell me again.
No.
Tell me again. No, but no, I mean, like seriously, like no different than the guy walking up to me going, I need to be on a cycle. No,
you don't.
You need to eat better, right? Because cycle or no cycle, I'm still going to look great because the discipline to eat what I need to eat and the discipline to get up and train when I don't feel like training, right? Because most people, I don't feel good today. They don't go to the gym. I don't feel good today. They don't make their meals. I don't feel good today. It's like, let me have a glass of wine. Let me have a glass of this so I can feel better. Like, that's not the things you're doing when your physique looks better than most, right? And some people are genetically gifted, no doubt about it, but it will catch up to them. Like, my cousin has always been thin. Always been thin. Abs growing up all the time. He would, tease me because I was chubby. I see him now, he got a belly. A belly with no muscle does not look good.
No.
Like you got all belly, no chest. That does not look good at all, right? Legs. So, I just feel like the whole body positive, I'm all about it, man. I'm all about it. Like, embrace who you are, love it, but be real with yourself.
Yeah.
Are you doing that because you're too lazy to make it happen to lose the body fat, or you truly just love doing it? Or you scared if you try, you won't actually get there?
Yeah.
Do you have an affliction to eating healthy foods? Like, what is it? But if it's going to be body positive, then you can't get offended if someone says,
you gotta embrace it. You gotta embrace it.
You gotta embrace it, right? Because no one's telling you we don't like you.
Nah.
Like if you're gonna wear a sports bra and tight pants and your fupa is hanging out,
bro.
Like, okay, if that's what you feel good about, then don't get mad when people stare at you, because when I wear a tank top, everybody's staring at me. And I'm like, thank you, I appreciate it. This is why I work so hard. I don't want to look normal.
Yeah.
Right? If I wanted to look normal, then I would be like, oh, stop. They're picking on me.
Yeah, fact.
Stop.
You see a bodybuilder who's like, body positivity. Stop looking at me.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the disconnect. Like, again, I don't have any problem. Like, I mean, honestly, I prefer thicker girls sometimes. I think it's just a matter of if you're going to go there, then embrace it.
Yeah, but
You know, and guys, fellas, I don't see why a guy would want to be bigger. I mean, you lose a couple inches when you're bigger.
yeah, it's true.
So I don't understand why a guy would want to be bigger. But if you're doing it for a sport, if you're doing it for, you know, whatever, fine. You know, if it's your lifestyle and you don't give a shit, fine.
Yeah.
If you don't have no problem with self-confidence, awesome. Do you.
You gotta rock with it.
I know a lot of dudes like that. It doesn't matter because most girls are less intimidated by guys that look like that than guys that look like me by a long shot.
Well, they said most women today prefer dad bods than
Exactly.
anything fit.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, I think my girlfriend would rather me be softer than like this, right? Because when I'm like this, it's not comfortable to lay on me, right?
Yeah.
So I think, you know, this is definitely extreme, but it's what we're doing it for a purpose. But even if I wasn't getting ready for a show, we still wouldn't be completely out of shape. Because you've seen me over the last couple of years. Like I always stay in reasonable shape.
Except for 2019 when you went to the beach with your family. Dad, put a shirt on. You probably want to see that.
What was that?
I think y'all went to Disney. I think it was when I had my show, or it was definitely summer 2019 for sure. Where I remember you told me that Monica's. I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was Monica.
Probably Lana, dog.
Well, one of them. But it was just funny how they said. I'm used to saying, "Dad, put a shirt on. Stop taking pictures with people." And it's like, "Dad, put a shirt on." And I'm gonna try to see that.
But after the surgery, Stevie's like this. Dad, how come nobody asks you if you work out anymore? Like, I look small and skinny. I don't know.
But even then, that was only the worst time. And then you just look like a powerlifter, and not in a bad way. It just looked like you still look strong, but you obviously I'm used to seeing you ready for the stage and all that. But again, you look better than most people even then. But
I mean, it's crazy though because like, you know, you take for granted getting the attention when you've gotten it so long. You know, what I mean, you figure from 2008 when I first hit the scene, had my first magazine article. From that point forward, no matter where I go, people will be searching or looking, not searching, looking, staring. You know, and it became like I was just another person, and I was like, wow, like you know, and it was kind of cool sometimes because when I was really at the top of my game, you can't go nowhere without someone stopping you and like, can I get a picture? Or can I, you know, how do you do this? Or what do you do to do this? And like, just stop you and make sure you can be with your family. You got like, I mean, I think the one that takes the cake is when you're in the bathroom and guys just sit there and you turn around, you got a guy standing behind you, like waiting to talk to you. You're like, what the fuck? And you're like, bro, like, what do I got to do to look like that? Not hawk me in the bathroom. Wait till I get out. Damn.
Funny,
Yeah.
I don't get that. But the two times that I got that quote for it's like when we went to that baseball game and you saw me in the crowd. It's like I forget you bigger than the average people. And then we went to Chris's show and one of his clients saw me there. I'm wearing the same thing, same shorts but different T-shirt. But again in here I feel like I'm slightly above average. But it's just funny. He saw me. He's like, "Damn, the fuck you so big for?" I'm like, "You see me every day, man.
Right.
You see me every day." I was like, "I appreciate the compliment." But
Yeah, you don't really realize. I mean, most people are just not in shape, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You know? Like most people, you know, when you go to the mall and you walk around, like I have people come in here and they're changing their bodies and they're looking great, and they go, "Oh my God, I'm not even close." And I'm like, "Have you been to the mall?"
yeah,
Like, you know, I know
you've been to Planet Fitness.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to set the bar low, but at the same time, it's like recognize your wins. You know, take your small victories because when you stack the wins, that's how you get to the point where you're going to hit your goal.
Yep.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like again, this body positivity thing, God bless it, it's awesome. Just
Truly embrace
embrace it, right? Truly embrace it. So, this other question came in, and it was, if you can't go to the gym, what's the best alternative to lifting weights?
For fitness?
Well, it can't be for growing muscle because
again, that's
it'd be
it.
very hard to grow muscle without, I mean, I think you know, we need to, science tells us we need to fail somewhere between 5 and 30 reps to hit hypertrophy, right? So In the beginning, I think you can grow muscle doing push-ups.
Very much.
And chair dips and doing, figuring out how to rig a pull-up thing. And but I think if it's about being in shape, I mean, there's a million things you can do.
You can literally do almost anything.
Yeah, but I mean, you do 3 rounds of burpees for 30 seconds. Jump rope.
Jump rope
And
for sure.
jump rope, a bunch of sit-ups, some
Swimming,
planks.
if you have access to a pool or something.
I mean, if you can't go to the gym, you think you're swimming?
Well, no. My neighborhood had a pool.
That's fair.
Community pool.
That's true. Swimming's a great activity. But I mean, hell, you just go outside and run.
That too.
Go outside and walk, run your stairs. But let's just assume they want to talk about like some type of strength training. I mean, I used to do 300 push-ups a day, and my chest swelled up like crazy. You'd be surprised, for the deconditioned ladies out there, you got 2 gallons of milk, you can do a lot.
Yeah.
You can do a lot even if you don't have dumbbells. Let's assume there's very little equipment. I mean,
bands. If you get access,
you can definitely get bands.
So I remember one thing that just got me about Lawton again. It's just funny how he was so dedicated then that I remember the one video of him tying all the bands to the rims of his cars.
Yeah.
That, for whatever reason, that stuck with me so much.
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. I mean, you can get creative with bands and actually do everything.
Yeah, and you can
go to Walmart, get yourself a pair of $20, $30 bands.
Yeah.
You can really work out your body and do almost every exercise with them. And if you want to upgrade even further, just go get yourself a Swiss ball. You can work your legs completely with that. I mean, there's a lot of options there. So I think you don't need a gym if you're really determined. Gym makes it easier, more fun. Like, when I'm doing cardio here, I get excited because I feel like I pretend people are watching me, and if I don't do it as hard as I can, then people are, Fred's slacking. You know what I mean? It's kind of that mindset thing that I'm going to go harder. But even when I'm at home, I go hard. So
see, I'm different. It depends what mood I'm in. It's like if I'm watching like one of my shows or something, definitely in here because I ain't got no cardio equipment at home. But there's no way in hell I could do that 45 hit in here. So that's why I'm running around my neighborhood because in here I feel like a hamster. Where I'm like out there. Now that I'm back in like my old neighborhood, I got the whole neighborhood to run around.
Right.
And like literally one lap is like almost to 45 minutes.
Right.
So I see something different every time I'm running as opposed to looking at the wall or like even if I got 45 minutes and I got a 45-minute show I'm watching, I'm checked out if I'm doing like hit for sure.
Yeah, on hit I can't do hit without music, man.
Oh, for sure.
I need music, bro. Like a good EDM track or house track or something is what I'm using when I do hit. But yeah, when I'm doing steady state cardio, I can watch like a movie or something like that. But hit, I got my go-to when I do hit is like this. I'll go 3 minutes moderate, 2 minutes hard, and that 3 minutes I'm watching a YouTube bodybuilding motivation or like a marketing thing from Gary Vee or something like that. And then that 2 minutes I'm like, boom, drop the beat, and it's like house music or EDM music going really hard, and I'm trying to outdo the beat, right? I'm trying to beat the beat. And typically, like last night when I was doing it, I was getting my heart rate up above almost to 160, 165. Sheesh. So like I'm literally like, and then trying to get it back down during that 3 minutes so I can do it again. And by the time I'm done 45 minutes, man, I'm ready to fall off the elliptical or the arc trainer. And and like if I do the bike at home, the kids are like, dang, you be going. But like this prep, man, I just got this mindset where I just don't want to leave any stone unturned. Yeah. Like I want to get up there and know that I did everything I could possibly do to win this thing.
You're almost there.
So I'm really not. I mean, we're like 9 weeks, which is like seems a little bit in weeks time, but when you think about it, it's like 2 months and a week. And I'm getting tired of the same fucking second meal. My same meal has been for 4 months now. My second meal has been the same: 10 ounces of chicken, 1 cup of rice.
Yeah, that's boring.
It has not changed one time over 4 months. All the other meals have changed, but that second meal has been 10 ounces of chicken, 1 cup of rice for the last 6 months, and I'm like over it. But whatever.
Chicken is one of the most boring meals there is. Like, you know what's crazy? Like, everybody say I hate ground turkey because it's so bland. It's so bland. I'm like, I prefer ground turkey over chicken.
I went through a phase where like all I wanted was ground turkey.
Yeah.
Because I did this, I would do ground turkey, lettuce, green pepper, and I would mix it together and I put taco seasoning on it. Mm-hmm. And that was like, felt like a treat. But you eat that for a month and you're tired of that too.
True.
You know? So
True.
then I went to a little mustard and salsa verde in there. That was good for a month and it switched that out. So like, right now we're doing chicken. The adobe and the adobe seasoning package that you put like in a slow cooker, that's been really good. That's been really, really good. That's been good to me for the last couple of weeks. So I go between slow cooker, grill, slow cooker, bake, slow cooker, chop it up, dice up. I really don't like that. But the slow cooker is always the go-to every other time.
Same, because like I've been using Instapot for my thing, but then I've been pulling a Cosme. Been throwing peppers in there and just letting me cook with it to give it a little bit more flavor.
Yeah, pretty dope.
Pretty good. And it's like the flavor lasts so much longer too.
Yeah.
But today it was just like real dry. I don't know why.
Right.
But
and here's the tip: don't keep it in the juices. Take it out. Make sure you scrape that fat on the top off, because you're kind of defeating the purpose if you leave it in there.
Yeah.
So, we want it to be lean. So keeping the fat on there is kind of like defeating the purpose.
Yeah.
So, but after you defat it and take that fat off the top, putting a little juice on there, especially if you're not competitive and you're just doing it to lose weight, putting that little juice over the meat, it's a win.
Make it last longer too.
It makes it last longer. It makes it more juicier.
Yep.
Gives it more flavor. So yeah,
much better.
That's definitely a win. I would definitely recommend that highly. All right, so then the next one would be, what is the hardest muscle group to get definition on?
Definition. Oof. I would say, we're talking about generally, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking it's going to be a little different for men and women. But for men, what I find is that lower back is hard to fully see the musculature of the lower back.
I'll say for women, it's the glutes.
Yeah, and I think it's the quads too.
Like true definition,
I'm thinking like, how many times do you really see females where you can see their quad definition?
That's a subjective question because I see it all the time in here.
Well, forgetting here, this is, like people, when you see people out on the street in Delaware, and they're really in shape, they go, oh, you go to the training center, don't you?
Pretty much.
You know what I'm saying? So,
all right, because for me, because like you see the little teardrop or whatever, but like, and I'm talking about people who just regular workout.
I'm telling you don't see much on females.
I'm at the look now.
You really never see females with their quads.
But I also never see
that aren't absolutely athletic already.
Because again, I can't picture some shredded glutes either.
Yeah, well, yeah, you have to be super. So you know what? In that case, yes, you have to be super, super lean.
Yeah.
To shredded glutes. But for guys, I've seen guys with shredded glutes, but their lower back's still fat.
And that's why I said for women, it's the glutes. But for guys, definitely lower back. Because that's where we take the longest with the kidney area to come down. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I definitely would agree with that because you don't see too many Christmas trees. Like in general, I'm talking about, and again, we're talking about general.
No, I mean you almost never see anybody with a ripped back.
Yeah.
Lower back anyway, right? Well, I'm gonna say mid back down. You never see anybody like that. Like you pretty much have to be sub 8% levels of body fat.
Yeah.
And there's not a whole lot of people that get there, right? So, I mean, you can have veins in your arms and have bicep definition and be 13%. You know, like I just think that. But yeah, so I'm going to say the lower back for men is probably your hardest area to get super defined. And then like for women, probably like the glutes and quads, legs in general, man.
Yeah. But again, because that's where they carry it too. So.
Yeah, but you're right. You never really see anybody with shredded glutes. But definition, like that greater trichanter muscle, or up in the hip area, or that separation between your quad and hamstring. I've seen girls with that. So that can be definition.
Yeah.
You know, seeing a girl with a decent glute tie-in, I've seen that. You know, like, but yeah, I would give it to you. Like the legs in general for women are very tough.
Yeah, because they just carrying it there.
So, and this final question: what's the worst injury you've had lifting?
Lifting. Oh.
From lifting.
Okay, I was gonna say you were talking about lifting. I say my ACL, but lifting, I say can't even say that because that was outside of lifting. I'll say my shoulder because I had a pre-existing injury outside of the gym, and I didn't listen to it. And doing incline dumbbell bench presses just made it worse, and I had to go back to physical therapy because I haven't really got too injured from training. Like I've gotten close for sure, but even when I push myself, I can't even say that. Like just most of my injuries come from sports or stuff like that. I already know what your answer is, but because I was there. But like injury itself, like because I don't bullshit when I train. Because you see me do the Olympic lifting. If anything, I was supposed to get hurt doing that shit, but I guess I just listen to my body more than everybody else. Like within our trainers and stuff.
Or maybe you're just training smart. I mean, like one of the things, like Andy and I have been training. I have a number of clients with this too, but we were talking about today actually. We've been training for over a year. He's gotten considerably stronger. When we started, the man couldn't even do a dip. Now he's
really
no, he couldn't do dips because he had an issue with his tricep, and now he's doing dips with like 3 chains on them for 20, 30 reps, like, and benching well over 300 pounds. But the thing that amazes him with it is he always associated heavy, hard lifting with joint pain. And he's had no joint pain in a year we've worked together. None, zilch, right? And the thing is, because we pay attention to his biomechanics, we pay attention to, you know, the level of resistance we're using, and if it's like we're not going past failure every single time. We're keeping a little in the tank sometimes and periodizing that with times when it's completely intense and balls out. So by doing that and customizing his program to fit his needs, we've been able to keep him injury-free, joint pain-free, and he feels amazing.
Yeah.
So, you know, and so I would say you probably just train pretty smart.
Yeah, because like, I will push myself. Like with my knees have gotten a lot better since I started training and whatnot, but it's just like aches and stuff. But like no actual injuries or pain of specifically from training. Like and another one I might think about too is when I was on orders for an extended period of time. This is well before I started here, driving back and forth to Dover in my small car, knee resting on a door, and then I rotated my hips out and squatting heavy at the same time. Fucked up my knee where I had a slight tear on my MCL and a cyst on my meniscus. But that was a combination of stuff too. So, but like since I've been here, for sure, no injuries from training.
Right.
But let's talk about your chest.
Well, again, that wasn't smart training. Right?
Yeah.
Like we weren't even supposed to be maxing out that night because I just maxed out the night before or the week before. So that was a matter of, I was angry, I was ego lifting, right? Don't ego lift, that's the worst you can do. And I felt something in my chest that night, and you know, the person that was with us was like, don't you think you shouldn't lift anymore because your chest is hurting?
Yeah.
But for some reason in my mind, I had to hit, I just felt like I could hit it that night. And I wanted to hit that P hard that day. And that 585 came off the rack and it felt not bad. Came down, and next thing you know, I feel and it's tearing and nothing I do about it. It's too late.
Yeah.
But had I used my plan, I would have never went over 375 that night anyway.
Yeah.
I was supposed to be doing 5 sets of 3 with 375.
I will give it to you for holding it there with a torn pec, though.
Oh my gosh.
Because you know that what guy wasn't doing shit.
Oh, he wasn't doing shit. That's why I tore apart my, that little tear in my tricep. But, like, hard to say if I regret it, though. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I regret it because my business learned a new direction because I was forced to. My relationship with my children got better.
Especially the younger, too.
I proved to myself that I didn't have to use bodybuilding to make money. I was so terrified for when my career was over, how was I going to make money, right?
Yeah.
So that's not, or at least the kind of money I was making there. But by tearing the pack, I realized, oh my God, we can do exponentially more people if I use the people around me and develop them faster, right? So, so I don't know. I mean, I learned a lot of lessons out of it. But the main thing is, when you're training, a couple things. Have a plan when you're training. Like going in and winging it is never going to get you where you want to be. And the second thing is, if you're going to lift, you got to learn to check your ego at the door. Because all the ego is going to do is get you hurt.
Yeah.
Right? Because your body will tell you everything you need to do and how you need to do it if you actually listen.
Yeah.
If you listen to it. So I think, that was a very profound lesson I learned from that. I don't have any doubt that had I, and if I hadn't torn my pec, I don't think I would ever switched over to Chris Aceto. And switching to Chris, I've learned another way, a whole nother way to approach nutrition, no aspect. Learning with George for a long time was valuable, very valuable. But then working with Chris is a whole different approach. But I learned to appreciate what I had more. I learned to appreciate the gym more, because it was taken away from me, right? So, and I also learned a lot about me. Like, it's easy to say I'll never give up. I'll never. What's the word I'm looking for? I'll never shrink under disappointment and pressure. And in that moment, man, it was like, okay, it is what it is. Let's keep moving. And I think that taught a lot about my character. And the people around me could see, like, okay, well, he talks all that, but he's really doing it too, right? So, you pivot, move, and just keep going forward.
That's all you can do.
That's all you can do, right? So, but yeah, man, you got anything else with you?
Nah.
All right, cool. Well, you guys, please drop a comment. Let us know what you want to hear. Share the podcast with your friends and family. I feel like we gave you some good nuggets of information today. And we hope you rock with us, continue to rock with us, continue to watch, subscribe, like, share, drop a comment. We appreciate you, love you. Talk soon. Peace.